On Crash Test Human, we do tests and demonstrations that can be risky, but we have trained professionals on hand to keep our tests safe. So don't try them at home.
There are over 200 million cars in the U.S., 700 million worldwide. We can't seem to live without these things. But what happens when something goes wrong behind the wheel?
Let's find out how cars really keep us safe in a crash.
I'll get a very close look at what happens in a crash from the inside.
How do airbags really work? And why can that explosion save your life? And speaking of airbags, how easy is it to set one off?
The repeated bashing.
We'll find out what it takes to break a windshield. Is safety glass really safe?
Of course, we'll have to abuse a few crash test dummies. In the name of science. Just how powerful is a head-on collision? We'll demonstrate. Then everybody's had this nightmare, being trapped in your car underwater. It could happen to anyone, and it's going to happen to you, Dave.
I don't like the sound of that.
How to survive
When you drive.
next on Crash Test Human.
Dave Young, ex-cop, former Marine, police survival trainer. Now he's putting himself on the line as the Crash Test Human. Stephen Lee studied electrical engineering and nuclear physics in the Navy, and he's just plain curious about everything. His job is to dream up new ways to put Dave in harm's way, in the name of science. Two guys, one mission. To find out how things really work and live to tell about it.
Driving is a risky business. We hurtle down the highway at 70 miles an hour, packed inside a heavy metal box loaded with 80 pounds of fuel. Cars are built to help keep us alive. But what actually happens in a crash? What's it really like to be behind the wheel when two cars collide?
Our man Dave here is going to experience a crash firsthand. Matter of fact, we got a couple of crashes lined up for him. You all right with that, Dave?
Well, you know I am the Crash Test Human. But first, let me introduce you to a good friend of mine, Rusty Hay. Rusty's one of the leading professionals in doing these types of demonstrations and investigations with crashes and collisions.
Great.
Rusty, exactly how are we going to impact the cars?
Very simple T-bone crash.
A T-bone's a collision with the red car hitting the white car at a 90-degree angle. We're trying to see what it's like for a passenger, in this case Dave, when his car slams into another car at about 35 miles per hour. Will the seatbelts work? And will the airbags go off?
Shouldn't be a big deal.
Well, I think I'm ready to do that. What do you think?
I think so.
And with about 14 cameras, we're covering this event like the Super Bowl.
I'm going to be safely over there. Gentlemen, you guys have fun with this, all right? See you then. Good luck.
I'll get out of the way while the crew checks out the cars and the cameras one last time. We want to capture the moment of impact, the instant those airbags go off.
All right, don't try this at home. Rusty Haight is a professional driver. He's done hundreds of these crash tests to train police and investigators.
Okay, we're all ready to go. I got a mouthpiece on for my mouth. I got a lower abdominal pad for when I cinch down the seatbelt. And I got knee and shin guards on in case my knees go into the dashboard. Let's see what happens. I've tested a lot of police gear in my time, but this is the first time I've ever deliberately tried to set off an airbag in my car while I was in the car.
See you in a minute, buddy, all right?
Buddy.
All right.
Hey, I'm no automotive engineer, but this is the only way I could think of for Dave to get a real inside look at what it's like to be in a crash. Besides, it's my job to put Dave in harm's way, in the name of science.
How was it? Easy money?
Well, let's put it this way. That car won't be driving again anytime soon.
What was the impact like?
Impact was sudden. But the seatbelts, you know, they kept your body in place. They slowed down the forward momentum, and we didn't, I guess, hit it hard enough or the sensors didn't pick it up and the airbags didn't deploy, but my face never came close to the dashboard.
Yeah, knees didn't even hit, seems like.
No.
So these suckers did pretty well, huh?
Did very good.
So the seatbelt kept Dave safe. But we still want to see if we can set off that airbag. Before we tow the white car to the junkyard, we'll do another test. This time, we'll change the angle to a head-on collision and see if that makes a difference. The front bumper will offer more resistance than the side doors, and the engine is the heaviest part of a car. It should give us the impact we need to set up the airbags.
All right, Rusty and Dave are in the car. We've reset. Ready to go.
Once again, Dave's taking his chances with Rusty, and I'm glad I'm nowhere near him. This crash will be head-on, and we'll see if the airbags open this time.
How do you guys feel? You all right?
I feel good. I feel good.
Good.
I think the airbag did exactly what they were supposed to do. The seatbelt stopped me from jumping forward. Nobody's hurt.
You didn't smash your face?
Oh, no. I felt it a little bit brushed up along the side, but I'm fine.
Check this out.
Wow,
Crushed.
look at that.
But Dave's not crushed, thanks to his airbag.
Take us through about 5 seconds before the crash. What happened?
Well, it's a lot of anxiety builds up. You're looking down a long stretch of road, and you see you're in a car. You know you're going to be crashing into another car in a matter of a couple of seconds.
And that moment of impact, what goes through your mind?
It totally catches you off guard.
Does it?
You expect to hear the airbag, but you hear this loud sound. You see this big puff of white, and then it's over with. The car stops. The airbag stops you, but you barely feel it. It's soft, and it deflates so fast, it's gone before you know it. And the whole thing is over in the blink of an eye.
Did it hurt? Did you, like, bang your knees or the seatbelt hurt?
Well, I felt my legs come up into the dashboard, and that's why we wore the knee pads. And other than that, I'm safe. And you get a little shaken up after something like that, but, you know, I don't think I'd ever drive a car without wearing a seatbelt, and the airbag definitely saved my life.
Seatbelts and airbags didn't invent themselves. They're the product of research and a lot of testing. One of the best places to see that happen is near Detroit, at GM's automotive engineering facility.
One of the things they do here is crash testing. It's probably one of the best ways to find out what happens to your car when it makes a sudden or unscheduled stop. In other words, a crash.
Crash tests go back at least 80 years, and some of those early tests were pretty crude. They had live drivers doing the crashing, even before Dave got into the act. Over the years, the carnage on the highways grew impossible to ignore. In the 1940s and 50s, the death rate was at least 5 times worse than today, even though there were a lot fewer cars on the road than there are now. Crash testing had to get more serious, but people still seemed more interested in cool cars than in safe cars. Crash test dummies finally came along in the early 1950s, and so did a lot of new safety features. Ford first introduced seatbelts as optional equipment in 1956. Federal safety standards followed in '66. GM installed airbags as a luxury option in 1974, but they weren't required in all U.S. cars until 1998. Airbags have saved more than 15,000 lives over the last 20 years. Today, engineers are still running crash tests and developing new life-saving devices.
Now, obviously, you're not going to use real drivers, not some summer job for college kids. You're going to use crash test dummies, and if you want to see the stars of the show, you got to come to the dummy room. Now, these guys are called anthropomorphic test devices, or ATDs, better known to the layman as crash test dummies. Now, they come in a variety of shapes and sizes, over 20, to account for different body types. Everything from adult male, adult female, kids, even babies. And check this out, whole families.
These guys aren't just mannequins. They're more like androids. The industry standard is called the Hybrid 3. Its head weighs about the same as a human head. Layers of metal and rubber form the neck and spine. In the head, trunk, and limbs, there are sensors to measure acceleration and physical stress. But all this technology doesn't come cheap. A Hybrid 3 goes for around $100,000 a piece.
No way.
A lot of money.
100 grand?
Yeah.
And they couldn't afford a better wardrobe.
It's funny you say that. They wear pink because it shows up better on the videos.
Well, it does kind of highlight his eyes.
It does.
Before GM can test the dummies in crashes, they make sure the sensors are accurate. They do that here, in the calibration facility, better known as the torture chamber. Ouch! That's gotta hurt. Forget about WrestleMania. This is a serious SmackDown. Fun stuff. This is your head? Ooh! In a crash. Which is why car ceilings have foam padding. Now, the only way to see what really happens to these guys when they hit the wall is to crash a few cars. In the name of science, of course.
Fortunately for the dummies, and for us, cars come with a wide variety of features that are designed to protect the car and the people inside. The first line of defense is the front impact brace, or the old-fashioned bumper. Now, it's not very big. It doesn't even cover the entire front or rear of the car, but a bumper is made to be bumped, since it's probably going to be the first part of the car that takes a hit. Now, as this thing buckles, it's going to absorb a lot of the energy of the impact, thus reducing the damage to the car. Now, behind the bumper, there are actually parts of the car that are designed to collapse. You see these dimples right here and this hole right here? They're called crush initiators. What they do is they fold upon collision. They're responsible for absorbing a significant amount of energy on impact. Now, this whole area is called a crumple zone.
As it collapses, the crumple zone absorbs a lot of the energy before it can reach the driver and the passengers.
There's one up front here and one in the rear. The door frames and the roof are reinforced to create a strong box for the driver and all the passengers. This whole area is called the safety cage.
To keep you inside that safety cage, you've got a couple of restraint systems. Seatbelts are the first line of defense, but as Dave found out, airbags can stop you safely too. Like a seatbelt, an airbag slows down your forward momentum in a crash. Airbags are a passive restraint system. They go off automatically, so you don't have to make a decision to use them. The main idea is to protect your head and upper body from hitting anything inside the car. Usually you never see an airbag until you need it. Now we're going to get to see one go off in an unusual place, outside the car.
This is pretty cool. This is an airbag that we removed from the passenger side of a car. Rusty, what are we doing with it?
We're going to set it off and show you how it actually functions.
Let's do that.
Airbags go off at 200 miles an hour, so this should be a pretty big blast. In a crash, an electrical signal sets off the airbag, and that's how we'll do it too, using a car battery.
Wow!
The bag is folded up like a parachute and packed behind a cover. In a crash, the cover blows off and gas inflates the bag at 200 miles an hour. It's perforated, so it can deflate less than a second later. Next, the driver's side airbag. Since we're pointing it down this time, we're going to get a different effect. Blast off.
That gets some height to that sucker. How high do you think that goes?
That was about 35 or 40 feet, actually. And the whole idea is the bag comes out straight at you, out of the steering wheel, and then opens up. So that's why it kind of looked like a UFO. It pushed straight off the ground and then hovered out.
Now, I've always wondered what it would take to set one of these airbags off. You might think that any kind of frontal impact will do it.
Hey, did I hear someone call for a front-end impact?
That was me, brother.
Think I can handle that with my 35-pound sledgehammer?
Okay. I don't think it's going to set it up.
Why don't we give it a couple whacks and find out for ourselves?
All right. Swing away, Paul Bunny.
Hey, stay at a safe distance.
Don't worry, I'm more worried about you and the hammer than I am about an airbag.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Wow. All right. Strike one. Hit it again. Come on.
When I was a cop, if I saw somebody doing this, I'd have them arrested for vandalism.
Oh, the repeated bashing. Oh, no. Nothing. Well, I guess the answer to the question is it's going to take a lot more than a whack on the bumper to set one of these things off.
Absolutely.
You want to know why?
Why?
Airbags are smart.
A lot smarter than me.
No. Now these parts right here are the smart parts. They're the sensors. There's several sensors for each airbag. They measure rapid deceleration, like when your car slams into a wall.
In a crash, the sensors transmit signals to the brain behind the system, the diagnostic module. That confirms there really was a crash. Then a signal goes to the airbag. It sets off a charge and releases nitrogen gas to inflate the bag. Later we'll see how it all works in a crash test with crash test dummies. But first, a different kind of test, a sled test, to find out just how fast an airbag goes off and what happens to the passengers when their car comes to a sudden stop. Okay, first they take a few dummies and put them inside a stripped-down vehicle frame mounted on a sled. Then to find out what parts of their bodies slam into the car, they brush them with fresh paint. Then the sled is moved into the testing position. A hydraulic piston pushes the sled. It's all run from inside a control room where the test engineers can watch the whole thing and monitor the data. And it's almost showtime. Next, the sled gets the big push. Then, the crash test dummies are going to get slammed into a concrete wall. And we'll put the crash test human behind the wheel for a head-on collision.
This program is brought to you by Acura.
Call office.
Office.
Call Erica.
Call Wayne.
Fort Wayne.
Fort Worth. 75 degrees.
72 degrees.
83.
88.6 FM.
Volume up.
Up. Volume down.
Chinese.
Seafood.
Mexican.
Italian. Display map.
Zoom in.
Zoom out. Out. Out.
Of all its abilities,
Call home.
listening may be its most impressive. The voice-activated Acura TL.
Today on Cheesy Chef, renowned Chef Pierre against Chester Cheetah.
Yo.
Let's get the show on the road.
Boom, partner. Now we're cooking. Yeah.
Ooh, look at that cheese. Amazing, it's baked Cheeto snacks. The crowd loves the great cheesy taste. Chester's the winner. Baked Cheetos, the smart way to snack.
Deliciously baked, dangerously cheesy. Yes, souffle. We'll rise again.
For English, say yes.
Yes.
For security purposes, say your pet's name.
Fluffy.
Please say your password.
Big boy.
Please repeat.
Big boy. Yes.
For a shinier credit card, say yes.
No. Yes. I don't know.
For customer service, say yes.
Yes.
This is Ryan.
Hello, I have a question about my statement. Hello?
Sometimes you just want to get straight through. That's why there's the Citi Simplicity credit card. Simply press 0 to talk to a person. Citi. Live richly.
There's no money here.
There's no money?
No money.
Where is it?
Somewhere safe.
This is the safe.
Somewhere safer.
Safer? How?
Hardware encryption, smart cards, you know, digital security.
Who are you?
I'm from the help desk. Who are you?
Cleaning crew? This place is a mess.
Today, we mourn 7 heroes. We will never forget them, nor the last time we saw them, as they slipped the surly bonds of earth to touch the face of God.
Two foes locked in a battle where you never know who will survive. Relentless Enemies premieres Sunday at 9 on the National Geographic Channel.
We've gone inside the car to check out seat belts and airbags. Now we're going to check them out with the crash test dummies at General Motors. But before we crash test a car, we'll warm up with a sled test to see how fast the airbag goes off. and what happens to the dummies inside. They're all set and ready to roll. The piston shoves the sled backwards.
Hey, wait a minute. Do you think you could have jumped backwards any farther?
All right there, tough guy. Maybe I did jump a little. Meanwhile, the piston shoved the sled backwards, and that threw our dummies forward, like in a real crash. And how fast did that airbag inflate? In less than 60 milliseconds. A blink of an eye takes about twice as long. The seatbelts kept the dummies in one place. As body parts made contact with the car's surfaces, they left behind traces of paint, so we can see that even with airbags and seatbelts, there can still be some physical trauma. But it's pretty clear that without seatbelts and airbags, these guys would have gone flying right out of the safety cage. Even in a sled test, you can see how bodies move forward in a sudden stop. But what happens in a real crash with a real set of wheels?
Next on the agenda is conducting a barrier test. That's using a real car.
And you drive it?
No, I'm the crash test human, not the crash test dummy. That's our job for Billy over here. This test is conducted by going 35 miles an hour. And of course, you know the dummies can't drive.
I don't know. I've seen a few dummies on the road. You have too.
But these dummies have a lot of experience. See that number on the car? They've crashed cars into that same wall more than 15,000 times. It's almost as many crashes as Dave's Aunt Edna in Boca Raton.
A cable pulls the car down a track and slams it into a wall like a guided missile. They can do that at any speed, up to 80 miles an hour. This test will be at 35 miles an hour, about the same speed of the collision I was in. But it's more risky for these dummies since the wall doesn't crumble like a car, so it won't absorb much of the force of the impact. High-speed cameras will record what happened to give us a super slow-mo instant replay.
The cable will pull the car about 400 feet to get its speed up to 35 miles an hour. Then we'll see him slam it into a concrete wall.
Well, my money's on the wall.
Ready. We are starting the show.
You can see every detail on the instant replay. In the front seat, the airbags cushion the dummies. In the back, the seatbelts hold in the kids, but the impact is so powerful, anything that's not strapped down goes flying. The crash crushes the front of the car, but not before the sensors send a signal to the airbags. And even though the footage is super slow-mo, this is happening super fast. See that clock in the corner? It's ticking off hundredths of a second. The airbags inflate, then deflate in less than half a second, right on schedule. You can see how the side mirror bends forward, while the airbag slows down the dummy more gently. We've got a side view and a top view, and a view you hope you never see in a real crash, underneath the car. From down there, you can see the whole front end crumple, but the frame around the engine block stays pretty much intact to control the engine's movement. Bottom line, the car's totaled, but the dummies survived. In a real crash, that's you and me. With any luck, we'd walk away, shaken up, but still alive.
Hey, this car is a mess.
Hammered, brother.
You know, but basically did exactly what it was designed to do.
And inside the car, it looks pretty good. Some of the paint from this guy's knees hit the dashboard a little bit. Might have a bruised knee tomorrow, but at least nothing came in from the engine compartment, you know? Cars' engines today are designed to move down and back in a crash so they don't end up in passenger's lap.
It looks like the seatbelt and the airbag did exactly what it was designed to do. It stopped their forward momentum without killing them.
And it looks like, you know, Billy and the family can go back to work, but as for the car, It's headed to the boneyard, brother, where they take all the cars after crashes.
Everybody's got to go someplace.
The dummies don't get to have all the fun. Now it's Dave's turn to crash a car at 35 miles an hour. But first, he's getting wired. He'll wear accelerometers, just like the dummies do, to measure the movement of various parts of his anatomy. I'm not quite sure what that one's for. The critical zone, of course, is the head. Kinda looks like he's getting fitted for the Motor Trend Car of the Year award.
We got a couple of different things going on this time, right?
Hey, that's correct. Rusty's going to be driving a vehicle straight up the road to the black one. He'll be doing 35 miles an hour. I'm in a stationary vehicle. I'm behind the wheel. We're going to simulate a head-on collision.
Now, accelerometers, what they do is they measure G-forces, or the effect on the body parts. Are you ready to do this?
I am. I got all the necessary safety equipment, the knee and shin pads on, the lower abdominal pad, and my mouthpiece. You can give Rusty thumbs up.
All right.
Steve thinks of these things, and I do them.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. The airbag didn't deploy, but the seatbelt's locked up and kept me back in place.
Your neck feels okay?
Yeah, my body feels fine.
Okay.
Just a little, shooken up from the trauma a little bit. Hey, Rusty, we had a good impact, but why didn't the airbag deploy?
Well, that's a darn good question. We're right on the threshold. The airbag's on the Camaro deployed, but on your car, what had happened is that Camaro's a lower front end. And so the engagement, the way the two cars came together, was such that the Camaro went underneath yours, basically, and lifted you rather than shoved you backwards so much. So while we were right at that point where it was probably about to deploy the airbag, we were just under that threshold for your car, but not for the car I was in.
Even though the airbag didn't go off, the seatbelt worked. Hey, it was only one test, but believe me, without the seatbelt, I would have gone flying right through the windshield. The accelerometer showed that I had about 10 G's pushing me backwards. If that had lasted more than a few seconds, it would have reduced the blood flow to my brain and I would have passed out. But it was over with in about 0.2 of a second. Too fast to kill me, but enough to scramble my brains a little bit.
One of the big danger zones in the crash that people don't think about is the windshield. It's all glass, great for seeing the road, obviously, but bad news if it breaks and sends sharp shards flying everywhere. That's why windshields and windows are made of special glass that's been treated to make it harder. What we have right here is some plain old ordinary plate glass, like you have in your house, not in your car.
Well, I have something specifically designed to shatter this piece of glass, and I think you'll like it.
Let's see what happens when a 5-ounce baseball hits an 1/8-inch thick piece of plate glass with Dave, the Rocket Young, on the mound.
Did I hear bring the heat?
Bring it.
We'll bring it.
It's simple physics. You take an ordinary window, add a flying projectile and enough force, and you get a broken window with a few thousand pieces of glass flying all over the place.
Well, obviously, plate glass would make a lousy windshield. Look at some of these sharp pieces right here. So we're going to get this cleared up and put another type of glass in there.
Clean up aisle 7. Clean up aisle 7.
What we have here is a piece of tempered glass. This is the stuff in a car that they use on the windows and the rear windshield.
So what you're telling me is it's supposed to be a lot harder than the plate glass.
That's what they tell me.
Only one way to find out.
How's that?
Let's put it to the test.
Do it.
All right.
Tempered glass is 3 to 5 times harder than regular glass, but it's not unbreakable. It just breaks in a different way.
See all these little pieces here? That's one of the advantages of tempered glass over the regular plate glass. There's none of those big shards.
And you know when it broke, we don't have a lot of sharp edges like we did with the pane glass.
It's cool. Listen. It's still shattering.
It's like rain.
That's cool.
It is.
In a side-by-side comparison, you can see the difference between plate glass on the left and the tempered glass on the right. Plate glass just dissolves into big pointed shards. The tempered glass shatters into little chunks, making it a lot safer.
Now, laminated glass, like in this windshield, is 2 layers of glass with a thin layer of plastic sandwiched in between. My man Dave is going to try to put a dent in it right now, and I'm going to stand over here. Come on, Dave. See what you got, baby. Come on. Ball 1. All right. Dave.
So as you can see, I was unable to penetrate the windshield, but I think my friend Old Bess can. Old Bess is a pneumatic air cannon. She uses compressed air to launch a projectile downrange. In our case, this baseball.
Once we replace the windshield, we'll turn Bessie loose on the laminated glass and see what happens. For Bessie's first shot,
fire in the hole!
The pressure inside the cannon was 50 psi, 50 pounds per square inch. That shot the ball out of the cannon at about 30 miles an hour. It dented the laminated glass, but it didn't break through.
So why don't I crank Bessie up a notch to 100 psi? That should push the ball's speed up to about 50 miles an hour.
Nope. Another dent, but the windshield still holds.
How about one more? Say at 200 psi. That's about 70 miles an hour.
That did it. The baseball finally went through the laminated glass, but it took 200 psi to do it. A speed of 70 miles an hour. Even more than Dave's fastball could deliver.
Steve, it looks like that plastic piece of film really kept the whole windshield from shattering.
Sure did.
Good idea for a windshield, huh?
Absolutely.
Cars are loaded with technology to protect people. But no matter how safe cars are, drivers are bound to get into accidents. Next, we'll find out how the decisions you make behind the wheel can save your life or kill you.
Tonight, beginning at 8, it's the story you don't know. The race to stop the ill-fated Challenger launch. Moment by moment, uncover what really happened. And weighing in at 1.2 million pounds and seating more than 500 passengers, this is as jumbo as a jet can get. Explore the evolution of the world's largest passenger plane. It all starts tonight with Challenger, the untold story at 8, followed by world's biggest airliner at 10. Only on the National Geographic Channel.
At Petco, we really love pets. There isn't anything we won't do to make sure they're getting the best products and the best care. So when you ask us a question like,
so how do you feel about cat condos?
we can say from experience,
Feels like home. For her.
Petco, where the pets go.
Pals members save $3 on all medium bags of Natural Choice Complete Care cat food.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hang on. I'm sorry, dude. It's not gonna work out. Esteban.
You know, thousands of youngsters long to express their hearts through the gift of music. Hello, this is Esteban with some exciting news.
You gonna teach Dwayne how to play?
No, I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Now through January 31st, get $2,000 in total savings on the Forester Premium Package.
Next, witness the most extreme, the most terrifying, and the most dangerous moments ever caught on film. Dare to explore National Geographic's most dangerous moments. Coming up next, only on the National Geographic Channel. It is a battle few have seen firsthand. Two foes, lions of unbelievable strength, buffaloes with unbreakable courage, locked in a war where the rules don't apply and where you never know who will survive. Relentless Enemies premieres Sunday at 9 on the National Geographic Channel. Available on Channel 276.
10 years ago, it started with a click. Progressive made car insurance easier by putting it online. They were the first. And 29 million quotes later, they're still doing it better than anyone else. So see how Progressive Direct changed car insurance forever. And it all started with a click.
Most of us love fast cars and high speeds. But why is high-speed driving more dangerous?
We drive 60 or 70 all the time, inches away from other drivers doing the same thing. But the situation can change fast, and you'll have to stop fast.
And pedestrians can appear out of nowhere. In fact, more than 4,000 pedestrians are killed every year, many of them because drivers were going too fast to stop in time. So, how long can it really take to come to a stop when you hit the brakes? It's time for a test. Dave's way down there in the red car. He's going to crank it up to 35 miles an hour, and when I give him the signal, he'll take his lead foot off the gas and slam it down on the brakes. These cones, spaced 5 feet apart, will show us how far Dave goes before he stops.
You did great, Dave.
How'd it do?
Good, good, man. You went about 20 feet. What I want to do, we're going to crank it up to 65, average U.S. highway speed. Okay. But I want to do this one a little bit different. I want to put some pedestrian cardboard cutouts in the mix, all right?
Cut out?
Yes.
Cardboard?
Yes.
We can handle that.
All right.
All right.
So these are the pedestrian cutouts I was telling you about. Pretty cool, huh? Now, I'm going to set the first one up at 20 feet. That's where Dave stopped at 35 miles an hour.
I think it's going to take a lot farther than that to stop at 65.
I'm going to set the second one up at 30 feet, next one up at 40 feet. Now, he's going to blow through the first one. That's a given, right? I think that he's going to knock the heck out of this one, too. But I wouldn't be surprised if he bowls that one right over.
Whoa, look at that.
Yeah, looks like he went 65 feet.
That's incredible.
It's really no big surprise. The faster you're going, the longer it takes to stop.
That's why you shouldn't follow too close. You know, I like to say that if you can read the name of the state on the license plate, you better back off.
Keeping your distance can stop you from rear-ending somebody. But how about this nightmare scenario? A head-on collision at high speeds. Dave has survived a low-speed crash. But what happens when two cars going 80 miles an hour collide? The impact can be explosive. But just how powerful is it?
Engineers can calculate how much energy is released in a collision. It's called kinetic energy.
I suppose we have a formula for that?
I never promised there wasn't going to be any math.
Yes, you did.
Don't worry, it's pretty easy. So,
as the physicists say, the kinetic energy equals 1/2 the mass times the square of the velocity. So if you plug in the weight of a 4,000-pound car going 80 miles an hour, you get 1,266,975, measured in joules. No, not that kind of joules. I mean joules as in energy. And in a head-on collision, you double that, more than 2.5 million joules of kinetic energy. That's equal to about a stick and a half of dynamite.
That's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
But I think I have a way of visualizing it for us.
Don't tell me we're going to blow something up.
Well, you know, nothing releases large amounts of energy like an explosion.
Or you eating Mexican food.
Yeah. Boom! And keeping with our theme, we're going to blow up this car.
Outstanding.
Well, what we're going to use is an X-Gel. X-Gel is about 75% dynamite, and our explosive expert, Pat Madden, she's going to load it up for us.
And we're going to stand over here.
You stand behind me.
Come on.
So, let's remind everybody why we're sticking dynamite inside a junk car.
Okay, a head-on collision at 80 miles an hour releases the energy of a stick and a half of dynamite. So that's what we're going to set off in our car. Besides, Dave, it's kind of fun.
And it's also kind of dangerous. So we've got some EMS and fire department personnel to help us out. These guys are ready for anything, and so are we.
Well, we only get one chance to do this, and we want to make sure that we do it right, but we also want to make sure that we do it safe. So that's why that car is all the way down there.
Way down there.
And we are way up here. And we're going to set up the charge electrically. So, Dave, you want to do the honors?
I think we need a little countdown.
All right, sounds great.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, 2.5 million joules or a stick and a half of dynamite makes a pretty big bang. And the faster you're going, the more powerful the crash. Under the right conditions, your car is a rolling bomb.
Dave, you killed the car.
You know, look at this. I got the bumper skirt here, the bumper over there.
It's bleeding all over the place. Look at the oil trail we got. The hood's about 30 feet away.
And it dropped that engine straight on the floor.
It's crazy.
You know, but don't forget, this was supposed to simulate a head-on collision at 80 miles an hour. And that would have been the energy released upon impact.
Yeah, it's a good thing we weren't close to this thing, but it gives you an idea of the kind of forces that you're dealing with when you're driving down the road.
Next, we'll put Dave into a bad situation and see if he can get himself out.
Today, we mourn 7 heroes. We will never forget them, nor the last time we saw them, as they slipped the surly bonds of earth to touch the face of God.
Witness the real story of a merciless tyrant whose worst enemy was himself. The Madness of Henry VIII. Wednesday, February 8th at 9 on the National Geographic Channel. Dare to explore.
Try Kraft Mayo in the original, no mess, Big Mouth jar. The Big Mouth lets the smooth, creamy taste go where you want it to, not on your hands. Kraft Mayo, a better jar of mayo.
And coolant gets it on.
DLP picture technology is here. HD TV that's so razor sharp and lifelike, you're there. Be sure your next TV has DLP technology from Texas Instruments. It doesn't get any more real than this.
What if a car had no name? What if you had to choose a car based strictly on its styling, its performance, its reliability, its value? And what if the blending of all those qualities led you to one conclusion? No doubt about it. The Accord from Honda.
Let's go to line 1. And Tim, welcome to the show. What's on your mind tonight?
Hi, Bob. I was just wondering if you could tell
I have a radio show that I do every day. I'm a financial advisor and I do money management.
Improving your credit score is about making payments on time and constantly monitoring your credit report.
It's real simple. The better the credit score, the better interest rates that you're going to get on consumer purchases. And that's why it's important to have a partner like True Credit so you can monitor and improve your credit score.
Start managing your credit today. Just go to TrueCredit.com and get your combined 3-in-1 credit report with information from all 3 national bureaus. Log on now and we'll include your credit score, free. You'll know it's the right choice because we're backed by TransUnion, the name America trusts.
Getting signed up with True Credit is not a tough process. You go to the website, it's very easy to understand, and you can find out which product is right for you. You know, True Credit has a motto, manage your credit, manage your life, and that has never been more true than it is today.
Introducing E-Trade Complete. Control your financial world from one page and maximize the potential value of every dollar. In other words, be master of your domain. E-Trade Financial. Be extraordinary.
I wish TV Guide would lose those little black and white listings.
Yeah, okay.
Just tell me what's good. And can you make the whole thing bigger?
Got it. The new, big, full-color TV Guide. This week, Grey's Anatomy. Pick it up on newsstands now.
Next, witness the most extreme, the most terrifying, and the most dangerous moments ever caught on film. Dare to explore National Geographic's most dangerous moments. Coming up next, only on the National Geographic Channel.
Bad things can happen when you or somebody else makes a bad choice, like driving too fast. But not every accident on the road involves crashing into a wall or another car. Here's a worst-case scenario. You're driving across a bridge or past a river. You misjudge a turn, your car goes out of control, and you find yourself in the water. Trapped, sinking. How do you get yourself out of this situation? To find out, I'm going to put myself to the test. This is a great place to start. We're in Florida. We have lakes, canals, rivers, and streams. In fact, every year a few hundred drivers end up in that water.
It's pretty scary.
It is.
We've rigged up a little demonstration to show what that feels like. We've got our water.
A lot of water?
We've got our 40-foot crane.
Pretty big crane.
All we need is a car.
Well, Steve, where are we going to find a car?
We got our car.
Yes, it is a car.
And it's a beauty, Dave.
Well, you know, not exactly off the assembly line, but it should do the trick for us.
Looks like CrashTestHuman already had a piece of this.
Well, hey, I took this to my 12th grade prom.
Oh, you did? So I guess all we're missing, Dave, is a driver.
Well, Steve, I got that covered. That is my job. You know, let's put this car in the water, and I think I can get out because I have a plan.
You have a plan?
I do have a plan.
I don't have a plan.
I wrote it down.
We're actually going to drown Dave's car 3 times, and each time we're going to make it just a little bit worse. First, we'll just lower him into the water, and we'll see if he can open the door and get out.
Now, because I care about Dave, I don't want anything to happen to him. We got some safety divers there in the water. Dave is strapped in, and he's ready to go. Dave?
Hey, Steve.
How you feeling, man?
We're ready to go.
Yeah? Well, now, just in case safety divers can't get to him, Dave's trapped in the car. We provided him with an air tank. So he's safe. Everybody's safe. Conditions are controlled. Are you ready to get wet, my friend? I'm ready. All right, let's do it.
All right.
See you on the other side, my friend.
Hey, man, we'll mess up the paint.
Don't worry, it's a rental. Call me.
Don't be a stranger, right?
What's happening? You're in.
Right now, the car's starting to fill up with water. I'm starting to feel it along the bottom of the floorboard, my ankles. Right now, it's actually filling in pretty quickly.
So what would be the first thing that you want to do?
Definitely undo the seatbelt and make sure that when you get out of the car, it doesn't snag you when you try to leave.
Okay, and can you just open up the door?
Well, let me try. Now there's about 2,000 pounds of pressure pushing on the other side.
So what would be your next option?
Well, I think it's about time to get out of the car now.
You try to make it graceful, please?
Well, we'll see if graceful's in the vocabulary.
I'll give you a 9.5 on that, Dave. Here, let me help you up. Next thing we're going to do is teach them how to escape from a canal.
That'd be a good episode.
So, that seemed pretty easy.
Yeah, I think if a driver keeps us calm and cool, they can exit safely.
What I want to do, if you're game, I want to crank it up a notch. I want to actually sink the car.
Okay.
You know, have you go down with the ship.
Well, hey, I am the crash test human, Steve. Why don't we try it out?
All right, let's do it.
Our next test ups the ante, increasing the danger level for Dave. This time, Dave will stay in the car as it sinks. He'll have to wait until it fills with water to equalize the pressure inside and outside. Then he should be able to just open the door and swim out.
Okay, the car's starting to hit the water and starting to lean forward. We're starting to fill up with the floorboard. We want to make sure we grab the steering wheel in case the car happens to turn. We can orientate ourselves in what direction to get out. We want to make sure we go ahead and we pop that seatbelt, make sure we get it out of the way. Now, this car is going to start to fill up as soon as the bottom of the floorboard really starts to get filled up. And you can start feeling the car sink lower and lower and lower into the water. I can see it going up underneath. I'm getting a small window of air as the car starts to submerge, starting to fill it around my waist.
I trained for the submarine service in the Navy, but I'm glad I'm standing here on the bank, and Dave's the one sinking underwater.
I'm starting to be able to breathe. I want to be able to make sure that I can breathe and hold my breath so I can get out of the car safely. And now we're starting to go into the water, and we're going to have to wait for it to fill up because I can't open up the car.
He's under.
Dave has taken one last breath before the interior of the car is completely filled with water. Now that the car is full, the pressure on the outside and the inside are equalized. So he should be able to just open the door and swim to safety. But there's a problem we didn't foresee. The strap that's attached to the crane has slipped across the door, and Dave can't open it. He's trapped. Next, can Dave get himself out of this situation? Or something even worse?
Tuesday, 2 super-sized structures. At 8, a billion-dollar gamble in design and technology. Go inside the ultimate casino. Then at 10, join the pursuit for pay dirt and climb aboard the world's biggest oil rigs. 2 episodes of Megastructure starting Tuesday at 8 on the National Geographic Channel.
You know, I think I'd marry you again. All these people as witnesses?
Yeah, right. Mom? Dad?
Lisa, will you marry me? Again.
This anniversary, tell her I forever do.
Pinocchio, to become a real boy, you've got to stop this lying.
You are so right, Pop.
It's embarrassing.
I'll try harder.
This is some pizza. Such a crust. And these toppings. Who delivered?
I don't know. I looked in the phone book. I called your favorite place, and they came right over. Uh-oh.
It's not delivery?
For fresh baked pizza at home, it's not delivery. It's DiGiorno.
I should have made the coffee table.
Wiggle. Wiggle while you're wriggling free. Gonna giggle while you're jiggling. A wiggling spree. Wiggle. Wiggle if you're wriggling free. Gonna giggle while you're jiggling. A wiggling spree.
Sugar-free Jell-O. 10 calories. Every diet needs a little wiggle room. Wiggle.
It's the 2006 Hyundai Sonata. Protected by 6 airbags, standard. And it's earned the U.S. government's highest crash test rating, 5 stars. And now, for a limited time, the 2006 Sonata comes with up to $2,000 cash back. It's the car Edmunds.com says, in the areas of performance and features, Sonata wins in a landslide. The 2006 Sonata. It's a Hyundai like you've never seen before.
Get 8 weeks of the Wall Street Journal, including the new weekend edition, all for 38 cents an issue, 50% off. Get the Journal delivered for just 38 cents an issue.
Call 800-620-8657, 800-620-8657.
Next, witness the most extreme, the most terrifying, and the most dangerous moments ever caught on film. Dare to explore National Geographic's most dangerous moments. Coming up next, only on the National Geographic Channel.
I like when I'm noticed. For my personality, a sense of humor, my style. I hope I'm not noticed for my bladder control problem.
If you have strong, sudden urges to go 8 or more times a day, and maybe get up at night just to go to bladderinfo.com or call 1-866-494-8500 for free confidential information. You'll get these handy tools to help your doctor diagnose you. There are assessment questions your doctor can review with you and a diary to show your symptoms. You'll also get this guide, which explains what causes those sudden urges, so you can stop worrying so much about them. You don't have to work so hard trying to keep a bladder control problem to yourself. Not when it's so easy to learn more. Go to bladderinfo.com or call 1-866-494-8500.
So now when people notice me, I know it's for the right reasons.
Dave's inside a car sinking in a canal. The water's rising. He thought he'd be able to just open the door once the pressure was equalized, but there's a big problem. The strap holding up the car has slipped. Now it's blocking Dave's door, making it impossible to open. Dave needs to come up with a new escape plan, and fast. Fortunately, Dave always keeps his cool, and he's found an alternate exit.
He's coming out. There he is. There's our man. There he is. How was that, brother?
Once the car got filled up to about my waist, it just sucked it in like a vacuum and filled up completely. You only had a couple of seconds to take a deep breath of air and get to safety.
Well, let's get you out. So how was that, man?
It was good. I think even with all the safety precautions we had with the divers and everything, I originally tried to let it submerge and open up the door, but I couldn't because the straps kind of grabbed and blocked the door. So I was able to just keep myself calm a little bit and wait for it to get all the way underwater and then open up the window. And by open up, I mean roll down the window, since this is an old car.
So you have to stay calm. That's one of the biggest things that you gotta do.
Absolutely. Stay calm and, just have a plan.
Okay, so Dave, if you're up for it, I want to try one more thing. This is the scariest scenario for me. You can't roll down the window, and you can't open up the door.
Can't get out of the window, can't get out of the door.
Yeah, and you're submerged. You want to try that?
I think we got a plan for that.
Okay.
We're going to get rid of the seatbelt. We're going to position ourselves in the car.
Once you hit the water, your electric windows will go out pretty fast. If you didn't get a chance to open them first, there's only one thing left to do.
We're going to break the window right here in the corner. We're going to see if it works. The strap is coming forward.
There he comes. Hey, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay, Steve. A little cut up, though, on my hands. When I broke that window, all that pressure pushed all that broken glass into the car.
But that punch seemed to work okay, huh?
Yeah, just a manual punch.
Okay.
Sure did. Did the job well.
We can talk about that when you get up. Let's go get you to an EMT, okay?
Hey, let's do that.
All right. You gonna be okay?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be fine. I just got some small minor cuts. All that pressure, that 2,000 pounds of pressure we talked about, just brought all that shattered glass in like being out in a sandstorm.
Why do you think that is?
Well, all that pressure built up inside the car, outside the car, and when all that pressure was released, it brought all that glass inside. If you're trapped in your car, you can use something heavy, like a flashlight or a screwdriver to break the glass. But if you go to a hardware store, you can buy a tool that's made for breaking car windows. What I used to break the window was this tactical folding knife. You can see it has a window puncher attached to the end of it. There are many different types of window punchers. Some that are spring-loaded, some that are manually used, something like this hammer here. Remember, if you're underwater, it's going to be very hard to swing this hammer, so you have to hold it close, shield your face, and then punch the window manually. But regardless on what window puncher or tool you use to break that window, you have to have a plan. And remember, stay calm. One more thing. When I broke the window, there must have been some air still trapped inside the car. So the pressure wasn't equalized inside and out. And it caused more than just flying glass.
Dave, Steve, the car's imploded.
This is amazing.
I can't believe that all this happened just from you popping that window.
Well, no, just to think that a whole chain of events started by breaking a side window with a window puncher and concave the windshield like this.
Look at that. You know what? Safety glass held.
Look what it did to the roof.
Another job well done.
It sure was.
We've seen how there's a lot of advanced safety technology built right into the car. Whether it's slowing you down safely or protecting you from flying debris, your car can save your life. Because in a collision, with that big release of energy, stuff is bound to fly. And if the worst happens, you can still prepare for it, and you can still survive, even if you're not a crash test human.
Join us next time
as we blast our way through another area of modern life on Crash Test Human.